Hi everybody, Arcady here. In this video, I'm going to talk about a very subtle set of Metroid Dread mechanics, auto unmorphing and instant unmorphing. These mechanics are already well known and used by most top runners, but I don't think there's a good resource yet on this tech, so hopefully this video will make up for that. Enjoy! Sometimes, when you enter a morph tunnel, the game will assist you in making Samus enter morph ball automatically. This happens when you ledge climb into a morph tunnel or when you slide into it for a long enough duration, or near the end of the slide. That part should be pretty obvious. The not so obvious counterpart to automorph is the auto unmorph. When you automorph, the game will also attempt to unmorph you when you reach the end of the tunnel, whether the exit is horizontal or vertical, under two conditions. 1. You must keep the left stick pushed in the direction that triggered the automorph the entire time. Changing direction or releasing the stick at any point will disable auto unmorphing. There are some very specific examples that show this is how it works. For instance, this tunnel with the vertical drop. Despite falling and hitting a wall, if you keep the left stick pushed to the left the entire time, Samus will still auto unmorph at the end. Another example is this tunnel with breakable blocks. Despite Samus' movement being stopped by the blocks, or Samus being slightly launched by the bomb explosions, again keeping the left stick pushed will still enable the auto unmorph. 2. Jumping will immediately disable auto unmorphing. Unlike the previous example where Samus goes down the tunnel, going upward by jumping would cancel the first auto unmorph. But if you ledge climb, you can auto unmorph again. If you used bombs to launch Samus, however, you could still get the auto unmorph thanks to the first condition. In short, to auto unmorph you have to go through the tunnel in one go without interrupting your movement inputs. In the same manner, if there are places where you don't want to auto unmorph, simply jumping will cancel it at any point. Auto unmorphing usually happens the moment you leave the tunnel, framed perfectly. In some cases, the unmorph is delayed until there's enough room to fit Samus in her human form. When you leave a tunnel, you can unmorph into sort of a coyote jump, so we can rely on the auto unmorph mechanic to time only the jump. The jump itself is somewhat linear and doable for a number of frames, but if you do it too early, you'll cancel the auto unmorph, and too late you won't jump at all. Now, anything that you can accomplish with the auto unmorph mechanic can also be accomplished manually. However, there's an easy way to do it manually. As long as the tunnel's exit is horizontal, you can instantly unmorph by holding the left stick up diagonally, left or right. For instance, holding up right will keep you moving to the right and unmorph you as soon as you exit the tunnel. Aiming just over 45 degrees from centered aim is enough to do it. Aiming too high will make Samus visibly unmorph immediately and stop moving sideways upon exiting. Both behaviors can be useful under different circumstances. Aiming directly up will possibly make Samus face either direction unexpectedly. While I wasn't able to find a way to auto unmorph out of a morph launcher, the instant unmorph does work. For some, specific unmorph timings allow you to retain the launch momentum similar to crossbow launch tech. You can also instant unmorph during speed boosts, which seems to have the same mechanics or limitations of unmorphing in the air for the purposes of speed keeping. So, now that we understand both mechanics, let's look at a few examples of how to use them in runs. These tricks I'll show you are already being used by most top runners, so keep an eye out. 1. Reverse grapple hot room. At the end of this tunnel, the regular way to leave will be to cling to the ledge and then jump off to the platform. However, you can unmorph as you exit and then do the coyote jump to skip the ledge grab. Number 2. Daron NMG Dark Room. You can unmorph jump when exiting the tunnel occupied by the grapple block to get an extra high jump that will immediately take you to the platform above. From the ground level, you cannot reach here by simply jumping. 3. Gavrin Grapple Cage. Most runners auto unmorph for this one. Pushing the left stick high near the exit makes Samus grab the magnet immediately upon leaving the morph tunnel. However, the instant unmorph version has a bit of a weird interaction. If Samus hits the wall mid-air before entering from the flipper, she won't grab the magnet when unmorphing even if you're aiming up. You can still jump to force it. Otherwise, as long as you don't touch that wall in mid-air, instant unmorph should work the same as auto unmorph. 4. Hanubia Unmorph Deboost Cancel. Without unmorphing, you'd need to kill this enemy in advance or get hit first to bypassing during your iframes. But if you instantly unmorph, Samus cannot be pushed back into the tunnel in human form. Instead, she gets pushed downward pretty quickly. I personally prefer the instant unmorph version so I can carefully position the crossbow to launch me, but both auto or instant unmorph work fine here. There are many other optimizations you can possibly do with this tech. Many movement optimizations rely on entering morph tunnels while morphing mid-jump or mid-slide, but doing that you won't be able to auto unmorph. In those situations, you can still choose to instant unmorph. There are also places where one of the options is obviously better than the other. When that's not the case, auto unmorphing can be more reliable than instant unmorphing. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed learning about these mechanics. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.